remember growing up in school and taking lessons in the Bible. A whole year dedicated to the book of Samuel and Kings. And I remember the story, the text which describes the conflict between Samuel and the people of Israel, the prophet Samuel, the first prophet of Israel, the first prophet of Israel who wrestled the authority to become a prophet from the priests of Eli and Hophni, the sons of Eli, of Pinchas and Hophni, the sons of Eli, the high priest. And Samuel proclaimed that the king, do not take a king, do not appoint a king over you. You do not want a king. The king will take your property. They will take your horses, will take your women, will take what is valuable to you. And your children will die in their wars. Or perhaps the true function of the king was to raise an army to defend the people and to ensure that the people had a degree of safety, of common, shared, predictable safety, so that it is clear, it is embedded in the very structure of the Bible and the very thought process of the prophets that there is a problem with the king. There is a problem with centralized leadership. There is a problem with dictatorship. That it is not the ideal situation to be in. It is a form of a negotiated compromise where there will be a king if the people insist. The people insisted that there should be a king for the simple reason, they said, to be like the other nations. So that the prophet put down boundaries and conditions on the king, that the king must do certain things, must obey the laws, must be fair, has to write a constitution, the Bible, must observe the law like he commands it, and must observe laws of ethics also. And the entire story of the prophets was the checks and the balance on the king. But the idea still remains that there does not necessarily and should not necessarily be a king, because the entire idea of centralization is a problem. In the world where kings and individual leaders is being ceded away, and there is new types of leadership, there is the same problem that people want to be like each other. Israel looks at the world and looks at the democratic countries and says, we should be like them. And indeed, there are many important things in democratic countries that we certainly, Israel should learn, and everyone, every country and even individuals should understand and to take and to pick from the best practices of the whole world and professionals and countries and companies in it. But the idea that there needs to be centralized control is not accepted, not fully accepted, and not recommended at the very heart of the biblical thinking. The idea is that one should be free, or a citizen in God. This is a God, a great God of infinity, a God that is not necessarily restricted by political or actions or by bureaucracy. So this paradigm of being under God seems to be more suitable for the 21st century and to facilitate human liberties.